Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. Welcome to our weekly webinar, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. And of course, special welcoming goes to new people. And for you, I'll just explain by using the quote of traders, which is one of my favorite quotes when they say, you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. And I know you're probably tired of this quote, the regular ones, and for new people, it's important to remember that the same way as trend is your friend. It's another favorite quote of traders. So what we're trying to do here, as you understood by now, that we're trying to create the structure, create a plan, create a structured plan, I guess, and based on things that are out there, the public information. So in this webinar, we'll be using some fundamental aspects and we'll mix them with technicals and we'll try to create that structure. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I started my trading career as a prop trader in New York City in June of 2000, so it's almost 26 years now. I did it for about 11 years, and then I moved on to, as I like to call, less stressful environment. I'm very happy to have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, we'll speak about indices, stocks, commodities, Forex, a little bit crypto at the end for dessert as usual. Warning, risk warning, you can find the full statement at avatrade.com website. And of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. We don't give any trading signals. Our social media channels, please follow us on Telegram, X, and YouTube. You can find very useful information there. Subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click likes if you like it, of course. And share it with people that you think might be benefiting from this. And as usually people, the YouTubers say, if you like it and you click the likes, it just opens up those algorithms that let other people to watch it. So please take it. It just takes a split second to do that, and I think that would be helpful. Before we go into presentation that I prepared, I usually prepare it on Saturday night, and everything looked very good as the negotiations were going on with U.S. group and Iranian group meeting in Pakistan. And of course, going to that meeting Friday, we had a nice move in the market in general. That was a great week for the indices. We had NASDAQ coming out of the 10% drop that happened 11 days ago. And we had, I'm just going to throw some numbers at you. NASDAQ was up 4.7% for the week. Dow Jones was up 3%, and S&P 500 were up 3.6% for the week. Was a lot of hope put into this meeting. So as I said, on Saturday, everything looked good. Cryptos look good over the weekend trading. As you know, it trades 24 hours. And as I woke up on Sunday, which is today, I tried to check the news, and guess what? There's no meeting. It's been canceled. The U.S. delegation returned to the U.S. Oh, they're on the way. I don't know what the timing. And the market is closed, and it's going to be open as usual at 6 p.m. New York time today. And I think, logically speaking, we probably will see some gap downs in equity markets and indices and other things. We could see oil jumping up again after selling off. You could see already, I'll show you the chart when we get there, Bitcoin already reacted to it immediately. It was a drop of about 1.7, 1.8% on Bitcoin. So just the general picture, how things can change. And of course, we know since the beginning of the war, everything was Iran kind of related and Trump's statement related and so on. So it's going to be an interesting week. The big question, even though the negotiations are not going forward, but the question is that 2-week ceasefire will continue or not? And that's another big question. All right, so a few things. Of course, as I said, prepared this on Saturday, so all my material here is on the positive note as negotiations were going on. So here we go. What's at stake for market as the US and Iran talk this weekend? And I think it's irrelevant for us to read it now because the talks are off, but we'll go through it really quick. This was the hope put into it. US Vice President J.D. Vance will lead talks with Iranian officials in Islamabad this weekend following a fragile 2-week ceasefire. Analysts widely anticipate US-Iran talks will likely maintain the current status quo with no formal agreement or major breakthroughs, right? Disagreements over the Strait of Hormuz and regional strikes threaten ceasefire, potentially leading to oil price spikes. Okay, I guess they predicted it, which is no-brainer. Here we go. U.S. and Iran talk peace. Navy destroyers entered the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. and Iran began peace negotiation in Pakistan 6 weeks after war. 6 weeks after war, with Vice President J.D. Vance leading the U.S. delegation. Conflict ceasefire demands persist. Iran seeks sanctions lifted and uranium enrichment, while U.S. requires ending enrichment. So again, just in my own words, there are two things that causing blockage on negotiation. That's the unblocking the Strait of Hormuz and letting go of uranium, giving up the uranium. Next one, the real oil price is a lot higher than it looks. Let's take a quick look. At the average national price at $4.15 per gallon, gasoline is still at the same level where it was before the ceasefire was announced. Spot crude price measured in North Sea are trading above $135 per barrel. The rising crude prices also appear to be impacting refining stocks. On the positive note, Intel stock gained 51% in 8 days. Why? The company has renewed lease on life. Basically, they resuscitated, right? It looks like they're back to life. And it kind of interesting because that's what they said when everybody said that spending a lot and not showing any profits. The Intel said it will take time for those profits to show. I think we spoke about it a while ago. So here are the key points. The Intel shares rise Friday, expanding the 8-session winning streak that has seen soar the stock advance over 50%. Intel recently secured chip. Sorry for my reading. I'm a little bit tired. So if I make a reading mistake, please don't judge me harshly. Intel recently secured chip deals with Tesla and Google and regained full control of its Ireland factory. Analysts at Milius raised Intel's price target to 75 from 58, citing accelerating momentum and potential for more customer deals. Here we go, Intel back to life. We'll take a look at the chart when we get there. Now, we are getting closer to that meeting, and as of now, there's no drastic change. We almost 98% probability of staying the same, and the meeting or decision will be happening on the 29th of April. That's 17 days from today. Economic calendar, as you can see, not a lot of things, but I'll explain, especially for new people. There's so much more in economic calendar, and firstly, I just want to explain what this is. Economic calendar, important aspect for traders and you can access it on our web trader or the app. And of course, you can just Google it. It's open to public information. And why the list is so short here, I just take the high impact events only because there's so much more. So you can choose what's relevant for you and browse through it and, filter through things and choose what's important for you. So here, high impact events only, and the time is GMT. So we have a producer price index of PPI. On Tuesday, we have governor of Bank of England speaking on Tuesday as well, and we have Christine Lagarde, the president of European Central Bank, speaking on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, another speech by governor of both governors actually, and Thursday we have employment data from Australia, and we have important numbers from China. As we've seen, China has been struggling, and let's see how these numbers will affect the picture, the global picture for China. So they have a gross domestic product or GDP, industrial production, and retail sales, right? Winners and losers, as a tradition that we started a while ago. As you could see, the list of winners, it's metals, crypto, and equity, the indices. And on the losing side, mostly the energy and some grains here. So, of course, this week things could change. As we said, that negotiations went to dead end. Let's see how the markets will react to it. So Bitcoin up 9.5%, almost 9.5%. Nikkei up almost 7.5%. Copper 5.4%. Silver almost 5%. Nasdaq 439. Platinum 413. S&Ps 3.5. DAX 321. Dow Jones almost 3%. Gold up 2.3%, and Palladium 218. Now these are all futures, just to be clear. Heating oil down usually almost 14%, crude oil 13.42, sugar down 8.33, gasoline and other energy down 7.62, natural gas down 5.43, wheat 4.55, and corn 2.49. We'll take a look at all of these instruments when we get to the charts, and we're actually doing it right now. So let's start with indices. Here's China. Take daily chart. Chinese market bounced nicely with the global markets here. We went above the 200-day moving average. As we spoke last week, we clearly have this dead cross here, while 50-day moving average is below 200, which is a bearish sign. And we touched that resistance here around 15,080s. You could see here we had a few attempts, 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth attempt to break that 15,087 area. Why 50? Again, the levels are approximate, right? But here we made a move to create a lower low from this point right here. The high here was 50,087.5. So that's China. Japan, we had a nice move, as we said. Nikkei was up almost 7.5%. You could see here a big move on this past week. We could be on the way, catching up with the highs, but in light of the last events with the negotiations, we could be actually selling off on equities with the opening of the market. So that's on Asia. Let's take a look at S&Ps. S&Ps had a nice recovery here. We were on the way to try a test 6,900 here. Let's see how we open. Of course, that's the million-dollar question. Nasdaq, as we said, it came out of the correction 10% level. We're also facing resistance around here. at the current levels. We still have 50-day below the 200-day moving average here, which is bearish. And as we said, we might be seeing a turnaround as a result of dead end in negotiations. Dow Jones up almost 3%. Let's see what happens there. We have German DAX. It opened with the gap, and Thursday and Friday we actually sold here when US market was going higher, and we entered also the dead cross here this week, where the 50-day moving average crossed below 200. Not a very good sign here. UK 100 had a strong week. You could see here we had 3 consecutive positive weeks actually. Let's see how we open and how this week will proceed with indices. All right. Excuse me for sneezing into your face. It wasn't planned. Moving into individual stocks. We have very important to mention as we're entering, we are in April, so this week kicks off the earnings season, and as usual, the banks starting. I'm just going to give you a few major ones. Goldman Sachs reporting on Monday. BlackRock, Citigroup, JP, Morgan Chase, and Wells Fargo reporting on Tuesday. Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Charles Schwab on Thursday. And also on Thursday, which is not bank related, Netflix is reporting as well. So the stocks, right? Let's just, as traditional, we'll go through the big guys and see how they reacted to this positive week. Apple, nicely moving here, facing the 50-day moving average resistance. It looks like it. Amazon, lots of positivity, very choppy, as you could see. How can you trade these huge gaps, right? But we did come to this level here around 238, which could be a resistance as it was here, and then we accelerated sell-off from the same level. Microsoft, zero energy. Not a very good sign. Google, nice move from this congestion area around 277. We closed at 317, up above all 3 major moving averages here. Meta, also nice reaction, and we have a stick of 50 and 100-day moving average here. So we facing that resistance around here, and this is also the point on which we actually had a strong sell-off here. Tesla, also not a lot of signs of life, but we are holding this level. So back in September, we triggered that move to the upside from current levels here, right here. You could see a lot of attempts to break, and then we flew higher, followed by high, and then since then, from the peak of December, which was close to 500, 498, we've been sliding. And as you could see here now, we're facing similar picture here, an attempt to break through these 340s, 330s, and we're holding, but not seeing any jumping on excitement to the upside. Here comes Intel. Here we go, right? From 40s, low 40s to a low 60s. As we said, in 8 days, they said 51% gain. Let's see the big picture here. We just passed this December 2023 after a lot of accumulation here. And let's see the monthly chart. The monthly chart, we are approaching these double tops here around 60s, mid 60s, high 60s. Let's see how we manage to deal with that. So that's on the big guys, and let's take a quick look at banks. Right, as we said, the banks are very sensitive. Banks had a nice gap up on Wednesday, and no continuation, but no falling either. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, similar picture, gap, and stay the same levels around there. Citigroup looks the strongest, right? We gapped all the way to the highs. So again, the banks are reporting. I'm just going to read it again. Goldman Sachs on Monday, BlackRock, Citigroup, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo on Tuesday, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Charles Schwab on Thursday. So let's see how the banks actually report, right? Let's see if it's going to give them any boost to the upside. Now, Netflix. Here we go. Is reporting on Thursday as well. If you remember, since the split, the stock's been sliding, and then towards the end of February, we had a nice recovery, correction, and a higher high. This is the daily chart. We are between the 100 and 200-day moving average. Let's see about the earnings. This is the weekly chart. It looks very nicely after this drastic or massive move to the upside. We had a nice consolidation and moving high here. So that's Netflix. Of course, we shouldn't miss the NVIDIA, the AI king. NVIDIA is trading in this high congestion zone. A lot of accumulations happening here. We didn't break to the downside. We held nicely. This is the weekly chart. So 50-day weekly or 50-week moving average has been holding very nicely. So the question is, are we continuing our rally, or we remain in that range for further decisions? Right. Now, what's important, sometimes I mention these ETFs. We have SQQQs, which, as you could read here, is a ProShare Ultra Short QQQs. So it's ETF that goes the opposite direction of NASDAQ. Take a look. When Wednesday, the market gap up, the SQQQs dropped drastically, $10 here. And I mean, we finished about $10 drop. So if the market opens with the gap down as a result of a failure of negotiation, we could see a nice bounce in this instrument here. Same thing in UVXY, which is the ETF ProShare VIX short term. Same thing. So you could see the VIX went down. This ETF went down as well. If volatility increases, market decides to dive again, we could see a bounce here as well. That's as far as these ETFs. So I think we're done with stocks. Let's move to commodities, and we'll go, of course, to that list of winners and losers that we mentioned. We have copper up 5.42%. We are approaching that possible level of resistance around 590, 591. You could see here. We bounced nicely off of 200-day moving average here. We're above 50 and 100. Let's see what's next. That's copper, silver, regaining strength as well. Support right here. We bounce off 200-day moving average as well. Platinum up 4.13%, fighting here with the 50-day moving average here. Gold, a positive week as well, trading around 100-day moving average here. Let's see the weekly chart. After this failed breakdown, we have 2 consecutive weeks to the upside. That's on gold. And palladium, another positive move, second week to the upside. We broke above 200-day moving average, bounce off 50, and back to 200-day moving average here on palladium. Now, to the downside, as we said, the energy sold as there was kind of hopes put into the negotiations, which looks like it's failing, as we said many times today. Here we go. Daily chart on heating oil down 13.75%. Crude oil, same thing, drop here and continuation to the downside below 99. We close at 95. The question is, where are we going to open? We could be open with the gap up. Most likely we will, but who knows? Anything could happen between now and the opening of the market. Sugar down 8.33%. That's the bad news. The good news, we could be coming to or approaching the level of support around these levels here, around 1370, 1350. There was a quick drop here, so we could see some support coming in or not. Sugar up, down 8.33%. Gasoline, of course, together with the whole group of energy, sold, but still holding nicely here, above 290 here. We had few tails trying to break that level, but we couldn't so far. That's gasoline. Natural gas has been the weakest of the energies. It didn't have these crazy moves. The only crazy move we had was the beginning of the year here, when we reached the previous high, and now it's just bleeding down slowly. You could see. Let's see the higher time frame. So we're down for the week, another 5.5% almost. Here we broke the previous support on weekly chart. We closed below. Question is what's next. But again, you never know. Natural gas is able to do anything. Things like that, things like this. Who knows? So natural gas down 5.43%. And the grains, wheat is down after a nice run here. We made the higher high followed by the lower low and breaking the 50-day moving average here. The question is what's next? Looks like these levels here could be a possible support area. And another one is corn. Also we gapped, moved higher, made a high, a recent high here on March 9th. A lower high and then sliding lower here. We have a possible support at this level here around 436. Let's see what happens there. All right, that's commodities, right? And we'll move to Forex. Start with dollar index as usual. As you could see, the dollar has been super strong. Two major reasons. Almost 0% probability of the cuts, which keeps the dollar stronger. And the second reason, which is the strong recently, is the prices on crude oil, which being sold and quoted in US dollars. And that give another boost to US dollars. You could see we had a nice move to the upside. We held very, very strongly here between 99 and 100. And then the moment the meeting between US and Iran was announced, the markets or the equities went up, the metals went up, and energies dropped, so did the US dollar. You could see the gap on Wednesday, followed by 2 consecutive days. We're still holding the 200-day moving average here on US dollar. And of course, if you look at the major currencies against the dollar, they had a nice boost to the upside. Euro, pound, it's not really moving, right? It looks like that ceiling here around 134.50s is so far unbreakable. So you could see the tails, but nobody's. I think we did close about this level here on Friday, but not a lot of conviction. Also, this past week we had the 50-day moving average here breaking below 200, which could be another reason for bearishness there. Australian dollar, nice recovery in one day after some recent weakness. We were hugging this 100-day moving average here, and then jumped above the 50, and we're holding, possibly preparing for continuation. But again, with all this development with the negotiation on the diplomatic field, we might see things turning back. Australian, New Zealand dollar, also nice recovery, facing resistance at the 50 and 100-day moving average, trading above the 200. Dollar Swiss, we break this week. We broke through the 200-day moving average here, bounce of 100. USD CAD, hugging this 200-day moving average here after a correction. The strong resistance here, 139.27 from mid-January. We couldn't break that. We did. We had very brief support that failed the very next day. We're sitting at 200-day moving average. Dollar yen, we are trading in this ascending channel here, as you could see. And the key level here is 159.20s. You could see here, failed, reversed, and a lot of action sowing that level here. Euro pound, as we said, it was a nice move here. So you could see, if you remember, we pointed it out that this previous support held very nicely, and look at this recovery. We came right back to the level of resistance of 0.8730s, and now we're trading around 200-day moving average here. Two things with the specific levels currently, something that caught my attention. Just wanted to share this with you. One is Euro yen. Just trying to find it. Where are you hiding? Here we go. Take a look. This is daily chart. The level here from which we dropped back on January 23rd, the high here was 186.86. Just put approximate line. Here we go. And the high here was higher by 1 pip. So the question is this the ceiling? Will we turn around? Or are we facing a breakout and continuation? It's $1 million question, but the level is there. Let's see what happens to it. And the last one I wanted to share with you is something that not so popular, but because of today's date, which is the 12th of April, we have elections in Hungary. As you could see here, the Hungarian forint, the current currency, has been strong going into elections, right? This is dollar forint, so the dollar has been weaker against forint. At the same time, there was strong against other currencies. Maybe they're just hoping for the change of power in parliament. The prime minister who's in power for 16 years might be gone. Speculations. So let's see. We did reach the possible level of support here for dollar forint, and let's see how results will play out. So of course there's two sides. Let's see how the dollar is doing. If I have a strength of a dollar returning, the oil jumps up again, and let's see the outcome of the election. So we could be seeing a bounce or continuation, of course. As you could see, the dollar has been weak against foreign. Then we had a nice jump here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive weeks to the downside. With this past week's been super powerful drop. That's something to watch. Again, it's not a very tradable, it's not very popular pair, It's just something that is connected to fundamentals at this point. And on technical side, we do see a possible level of support. That's on currencies, and as promised, a short dessert for cryptos. As I mentioned, if you take a 30-minute chart, I guess this is when US announced that they are leaving. Nothing positive came out of it so far. And take a look at the reaction. I mean, you can't really see what the markets are doing, right? But you can kind of get an idea. So Bitcoin and cryptos are trading 24/7, and you could see immediate reaction here from 73,031 as low as 71,326. So if you take the current price from the drop, it's about 100. It's about 1.7% drop, and as you could see, the drop is sustained. We are trading at the low range of that candle. And XRP, similar situation, immediate reaction from what was the high here? 135.53, 135.45 to 130 to 133, almost trading now. All right, so I think we're done with technicals as well. Just to summarize things. So going into Sunday, the whole world had hopes that these negotiations will improve things and stop the destruction of the war. We're still in the ceasefire technically, but negotiations are cancelled at this point, dropped, cancelled, kaput, whatever you want to call it. So overnight things change, as it could happen at any time for any reason. So the big question is, how will the market react to it? So logically speaking, in light of the recent events, we could see a gap up in oil and energy futures, and a gap down in indices, the equity markets. And that's something to pay attention, of course. For us traders, volatility is great. There's always opportunities. We trade in the moment. So have a plan. Definitely have a plan in regards to your risk. Calculate your risk, calculate your trade size, have a plan. Enjoy the weekend, get some energy, prepare yourself for the intense week. It will be intense for sure, which is great. And of course, don't forget about the social media. We have Telegram, X, and YouTube channel. Subscribe, click likes. And I wish you a positive and successful week. And thank you for attending. And God willing, we'll be back next week. Take care. All the best.